And we're back. Howdy y'all, this is Ethan Bonreal, back at it again, giving you that gay shit you love while playing some more Earthbound. Last time we were here, we traveled deeper into the deep darkness swamp, fought a manly fish and his brother, and I talked about almost ending up as a gay homewrecker. This time around, we're going to have a rematch against a previous boss, engage in some awkward social interactions with some tiny green incels, and I'm going to talk about tops, bottoms, and why a lot of guys eventually end up being verse, plus answering more of your questions about gay stuff. Sound good? Thumbs up. So let's go ahead and roll right into this. You may have forgotten, I'm the return of Belch. So if you don't remember, Master Belch is a boss we fought in the first half of the game, and he's back again, bigger and more manly than ever. And honestly, this dude reminds me a little bit of when guys just are like, when you first meet a guy and he's just really dedicated to showing how masculine he is, and he just starts doing random shit. Like, I remember I was hanging out with this dude, and he just was like really that was like one of the first things out of his mouth. He was like, you know, I don't really get to hang out with other guys because I'm pretty masked. And I'm like, oh, like, that sounds a little bit fake, in part because it's like, people really are into that. So it's like, I've never met, like, a homosexual who is like, I just refuse to hang out with masculine guys. That's so disgusting. But anyway, he was really into spitting on the ground, basically, to show off, like, that he was trade passing, and he was all about that. But I was like, you don't have to prove anything to me, love. I already believe it. You've already shown me your inner mask, and we can maybe tone it down just a notch, fam. But, you know, I've just encountered that a few times, and that actually, it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, but I also understand it. Some guys have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They're not necessarily feeling what they feel is the gay lifestyle, etc., etc. But personally, me, I'm like, you know, you just gotta be yourself, dude. You don't have to prove nothing to no one. Let that inner mask flow and shine bright. But anyway, we made it out of the swamp, and I am so glad, because I was tired of being in there. But this is Tenda Village, and these are Tendas, and they have a gimmick. ... We're shy. All these little fuckers are shy, so these are the tiny green incels I was talking about before. However, lucky for us, there is a Chad Tenda just chewing up pussy in the back of this room here, and he is right here. There's only one Tenda who's not shy. It's me, Bubby. You know what? There's something scary that comes from the underground, so we covered up that hole. There are lots of dinosaurs there. I went there once, but I came right back out because I was so surprised. There was a talking stone that talks a lot. Do you want to go and see? I understand, but I'm not as strong as I look. I'm sorry, I can't help you. The guy next to me is strong, but he lacks conversation skills. He needs to overcome his shyness first. So, what's your deal? Shy that we are. So only this dude and one other NPC in this area feels comfortable talking to other people. And honestly, this reminds me a little bit of like going to any sort of gay meeting that's not like at a bar or a club. Because it's just like everyone just sits around awkwardly staring at their phone or their feet. No one talks to each other. And then it just goes on like that until someone feels like breaking the ice. Which isn't bad, it's actually kind of cute, to be real. But there's an item here we need. Let me see where it's at. It's not back here. It's somewhere around here. I think it's down here, actually. Or is it? Alright, there's one more place we can check, I'm pretty sure. It's down here. There we go. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's in the trash can. And we pulled a death ray out of the trash can. So this is the Tenda garbage dump, which handily has a phone for us, but we don't really need to use that right now. So let's go ahead and give the death ray to Jeff, because that is one of his items, and that is a pretty juicy damage upgrade for him. There we go. We did it, Mom. Alright, there you go, fam. So Jeff's all strapped up, he's got that heat at the ready, and now we are ready to peace out this place, but first we're gonna get some plot dropped on us. Hello, it's been a while since we talked. This is Apple Kid. We're having beautiful weather here. I'm now at Dr. Andonaut's lab in Winters. The doctor doesn't seem to be around right now, but I'm just working on my eraser machine. Oh shit! Exclamation points. They're showing that many to show that what happened was really shocking. Hey you! Oh no, what are you doing to me? Question mark. Who are you? Question mark. Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Click. And I guess he got kidnapped or something? I don't know. But in case you were wondering, you get a backup call to remind you exactly what happened. Ness, I haven't talked to you in ages. This is Orange Kid. We're finally coming near the end of our research on how to change a boiled egg back into a raw egg. By the way, Apple Kid is missing. He left here saying that he was going to see Dr. Indonots and Winters, and he never came back. I was hoping to borrow the book Overcoming Shyness from him, but suddenly he disappeared. I haven't read the book yet, so I'm not very good at talking. Sorry. I'm also working hard on my invention, so I hope you'll understand. Say hello to your friends for me. Click. But what I was getting about with that stuff I was saying in the Tender Village is, a lot of us tend to be really shy, and I've already talked about the reasons why. Sometimes, a lot of us haven't interacted with other gay people, etc., etc. But also, I think, much like the dude I was talking about before, a lot of us have a little bit of a gay chip on our shoulder, and we wanna really impress people in our first meeting with them, but we don't always know how. Sometimes we really feel a lot of pressure to show that we're normal. And we're not different from other people, but it's hard. Sometimes you just gotta be yourself. That's really the only way to get to know people, instead of trying to prove to them that you're something. If you are something, people will see it if they're ready for it. Otherwise, they just won't, But we're in Winters, so the game called us with 2 different phone calls back to back, all to remind you that to advance the game, you have to go to Winters. If you do not go to Winters, there's nothing you can do, baby, basically. You will be confused, and I want to say if I was 12 playing this game, I probably would have skipped all that dialogue and just never beat the game, honestly. But now I'm grown, and I know how to read better, or rather, I have the patience to read better. I didn't really have a problem reading. Well, that's not true. If y'all remember, I actually have dyslexia. And also, I was in speech therapy and reading therapy. I don't think it's called reading therapy, but basically I was put aside when I was in elementary school, and I had to do phonics stuff, which is a program that helps you learn to read and pronounce things, because I was basically really southern and really gay, and I just sounded like a homosexual that didn't know how to talk well. I was very gay when I was a child. But we are going to call the Escargot Express, which is part of the reason why we're in here. And the reason we are doing it is because we need to drop off some items there, because Earthbound's kind of annoying because they make you hold on to key items. You can't throw them away, but if you don't need them anymore, like the hieroglyph copy, then it just takes up inventory space and you have to leave it with your sister, which is really annoying. But we'll take care of that in a bit. We're also going to actually ask them to bring something to us in a second too, because it's going to make our trip a little bit shorter here. Hello, this is Escargot Express. Your delivery charge is $18. You can cover the bill, right? Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this hieroglyph copy on you. There you go, you take that. I'm also gonna give him the Franklin badge. I just really want some inventory space, goddamn. We're gonna get rid of the snake bag. I haven't really been using that, honestly. And we will also get rid of... I think that's really everything. Pooh's. Now that we have Pooh back, our inventory is a lot less bursting at the seams. I think, honestly, this is fine. Yeah, and then we're going to call them again, even though that's a little annoying, to get our pencil eraser machine that Apple Kid made for us in the earlier part of the game, because that's going to let us take a shortcut here that's very handy. So, let's see... There we go, Escargot Express, and I want to pick up the... Oh shit, I don't need the bicycle. Okay. So we want to get the... not the town map, not the for sale sign, not the bad key machine. Huh, okay, we need... There we go, the pencil eraser, I looked right past it. And let me see if there's anything else I want in here. The hand-aid's really useful if you don't remember that fully heals you. But I should probably start talking about gay stuff again, because this is getting a little bit too gamey for me. I have reached my court-mandated amount of Earthbound to talk about, so... The topic for today is one that one of y'all asked me, is basically, what position am I? What sexual position am I? And I don't mind being asked questions like that, as long as you don't do it in a creepy fucking way, which this person didn't. If you can't tell, I'm Verse, but it wasn't always that way. I started out, when I was younger, as exclusively bottoming, and that was all I was into. And I grew a little bit, and I got more confident, and I realized, hey, I have a wiener, and I can put it to good use. I was going to say good work, but that made a little bit less sense, so I stuttered a bit. But, I decided to, just start slinging that dick all around, and eventually I became a bit more toppish, because my confidence grew, like I was saying. And now I would consider myself more of a verse top. And I will say that, actually, to be like super deluxe real, like really, really ultra real deluxe 420, most people actually eventually end up becoming verse, even though they say they're a total top or strict bottom. And I'm not saying it's everyone, but a lot of people do, just because it's really hard to maintain that, in part because it just cuts your dating and sex options in half, basically. So when you think about it, there are only so many gay people in the world, right? And there's so many gay people that live within distance of you, right? And if you can only date someone who's a top or bottom, that just makes it that much harder to find someone, right? And so eventually, as you get older and maybe a little bit more frustrated with dating or finding someone, a lot of people just decide, I can't really... I'm fine with trying to switch it up, basically. Because it's very hard to maintain that. Because if you're that picky, it really makes it harder to find someone to date or to have sex with. And if you do feel like you're a total top or total bottom right now, I'm not saying that's bad or anything. It's something that as you grow, your feelings might change about it, And that's not a big deal, because you can still do bottoming or topping, you just might mix it up sometimes so that it's easier to meet people. And I actually read a story, or not a story, a research paper at Gay Men's Caucus a long time ago. So Gay Men's Caucus is a group I used to go to that was just other gays talking about gay stuff. And it was a research study that was basically about that. It was like, are there more tops or bottoms? And they found out, actually, that most people eventually are verse, even if they call themselves total tops or total bottoms. And that the least people are total tops or bottoms. Some people are verse and have a preference towards one or the other, like they're verse tops or verse bottoms, but most people, as they get older, that's the important part, become verse. And that's really an important thing, too, that becomes older part, because I think when you're younger, it's very easy to just be set into a certain role, because it's just how you imagine yourself. Like, when I imagined myself when I was younger, I imagined myself as more submissive and the other person really taking more control. But as I grew and my personality changed a little bit, that just stopped being true, honestly. I saw myself as someone who really had to assert themselves, in part because of the situations in my life. I was bullied a lot when I was younger, and I really had to stick up for myself a lot, and that made me realize, I'm not really that submissive. I just have been kind of put in that role because I wanted to avoid people bullying me, basically. Like, I just became a very quiet person because, I was used to not really having anyone to bond with, and alternatively also having people harass me. But now I'm confident, I got the dick to slang, and, I verse it up. But I actually don't flip-flop. Incidentally, I'm just absolutely not into that. It's more like there's certain people I'm into topping, and there's certain people I'm into bottoming for. And usually my interest is more in topping now, but I find that as you grow more confident, you become more willing to experiment with what role you want to be in. And then also, just again, it's just age too. But anyway, y'all might be wondering why we're here, and the reason is we gotta meet up with this monkey. Key. Yep, I have some chewing gum, boy. And he is about to chew it up and get us on top of this lumpy dinosaur thing. And that's good for us, because this is going to help us move forward with the plot. But outside that verse, bottom, top stuff, it's like... I think that goes back to some of the other things I've talked about, where, a lot of guys tend to have this perfect guy in their mind, and that perfect guy is often, like, a top or bottom. It's someone who, like, completes them in their mind. But, like I've said before, sometimes that leads people to being a little bit inflexible, but sadly, life doesn't really facilitate being inflexible for that long, especially when you're gay and you don't have a huge-ass dating pool to work with. So at first you're like, I really want like this really masculine top guy to just throw me around like a sack of potatoes and impregnate me. And then you're like, we could hold hands and impregnate each other. It doesn't have to be so strict. And that's what I'm preaching now. Sometimes you just gotta impregnate each other out of love. But, again, it's all up to you. I'm not saying you have to cross your boundaries or anything. It's just life tends to chip away at some of your inflexibility or some of your preferences as you age, and it's actually a good thing, in my opinion. It's not bad at all. But at the same time, I've met guys who are like much older than me who are still very much so total tops or total bottoms, and that's fine, honestly, because I have sex with both of them, and it's wonderful. Sometimes. I don't know, my sex life isn't... I think it sounds a lot more extraordinary than it is, and I've already had this conversation. A lot of my experiences are just things I've racked up from being in college, and all the stories I tell really are from that era of time. And I feel like when I say, I don't have sex as much as it seems, I think that might come off as me just being a little bit embarrassed about my sexual activity, but that's not necessarily what's really going on, in my opinion. It's me kind of trying to reconcile that. Honestly, I tend to have I really struggle to find people who are interested in me. And the people who I do have sex with tend to be the kind of people who would have sex with anyone, if you know what I mean. And that is kind of a negative thing, in my opinion. It's like, it tends to often be guys who are older, or guys who are not actually even really attracted to men. They just kind of want to have sex, which is kind of rough. And I guess I could just talk about that, too. Because something I've been talking to some people about is the idea that some guys who have sex with other men are not gay or bi, they are just straight up straight. And that might sound weird to some of y'all, because it's like, isn't being gay, like, definitionally just like fucking guys? Why would someone not do that? And my answer to that is that some guys have sex with guys despite not being physically attracted to the guy at all, or emotionally attracted. They just do it because it's almost like kind of a fetish, really, that it turns them on to have power over another man. And on the flip side, otherwise it's just mechanical. They're basically just masturbating with you. And it's not even just guys who are tops. It's like, it can be really any kind of guy, honestly. And that's become more and more obvious to me as I've grown older and started recognizing things, because I see that a lot when, like, someone gets caught in a sex scandal and they say, I'm not gay or something, and everyone's like, you are gay, you literally just got caught having sex with a man. But in my opinion, sometimes it's a little bit more complicated than that, just because from what I've seen about sexuality and sexual orientation in people, if someone wants to call themselves straight and they just absolutely have no physical or romantic attraction to men, in my mind, even if you're fucking a dude, you're just straight. I can say that. Like, I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. It's just a fact of life. that some people have sex with people that they're not into. And conversely, I think a lot of people don't realize gay men actually do have sex with women a lot. And I mean this very sincerely. Like, there's a lot of societal pressure to do that. And I know quite a few of my friends who are like real gay have just straight up just put that wee wee right in there and almost accidentally made a baby once. And the reason for that is just because there's a lot of pressure by people's families to, basically, it's kind of weird to say this, but basically have sex and be virile. Like, part of what convinces me my extended family knows I'm gay is basically that I haven't gotten anyone pregnant yet. And I mean that, like, that sounds weird, but it's just like, why haven't we heard about no woman? Like, why haven't I seen or heard about you? Like, what's the deal there? Like, cause like all my, well, most of my cousins and most people in my family, like, they just have babies, and they either had them very early, like, when they were, like, 17 or 18 or earlier, or alternatively, like, in their early 20s, and here I am, getting closer to 30, and people are just like, a little suspect that you aren't, filling people with any DNA. What's the deal here? Where are the babies at? But we're going to put that convo on pause because we have a plot animal here. Hello, Mouse. What's up? I've been waiting for you. My master Applecid completed his eraser machine. While he was calling you, he was kidnapped. He felt like this! Exclamation points! XDDDDD. I was there, but was helpless. Sorry about that. Anyway, take this machine. Okay, Ness got the eraser. You know, part of the reason why I stutter or, like, stumble with my words sometimes is I'm trying, like, really hard in my head to control my accent. And I mean, it comes through regardless, and sometimes I let it slip, but that's something, actually, that's a really good sign if I'm close to you, if I just, like, let my accent flow through. Because I actually do not really talk like myself, I don't know what other way to say that, with people that freely. And that's actually a pretty big deal if I'm comfortable enough to talk to someone in my, I guess, my real voice. In part because I was kind of bullied for it, and then also I took speech pathology to teach me how to talk good. XD, talk real good, like I'm talking right now, but it's kind of hard for me to shut that off. And also, honestly, like, to be really real, being black on the internet is really rough, especially when you're in voice chat, and people, like, the second people sense that you are black, or also very gay, because it's both, honestly, with me, they just tend to be a little bit more aggro, or just be really mean for no fucking reason. Well, there is a reason, it's because they're homophobic and racist, but it's kind of irritating, so I just slowly learned not to talk like myself. I remember when I played MapleStory, I would get made fun of a lot because I would just say something just like in a real country way, in a real southern way, or just a really black way. And people would be like, look at this fucking nigger, like, what are you doing playing this game? Get the fuck out. And it was a little hurtful, but it gave me kind of thick skin, but at the same time, I shouldn't have to have thick skin for this. So, y'all might be wondering, where are we? What is this purple place? What's going on? And this happens to be the Starman base, or the Stonehenge base is the more proper name. And basically, we are going to encounter a lot of the Starman enemies. The first enemy we fought in the game was a Starman. And they are very strong mechanical psychic entities. Which means we need to cut the video here, because I gotta do some prep work now that we've made our way inside here. So, I want to thank y'all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, Jeff is packing that heat, so we're still going to be one-shotting bosses. But, again, I feel the need to get some items off screen. And now that we're here, I want to thank y'all for watching. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them right on me. And have a good one, okay?